Students, how are you all? Hope all of you are fine at home and helping your mother at home in household work. Yes, so do it. If you are doing, it is very good, student. Yes, to help your parent in their work is a very good thing. Yes, so with this, we will start our social science class and we will take history as a subject. As students, you all know that we have completed our 2 chapters of history. Yes, the explanation and question and answer. Today, we will start with our third chapter of history, chapter 3, and the name of the chapter is In the Earliest Cities. What is the name of the chapter, student? The name of chapter 3 is In the Earliest Cities. So, this chapter we will take today. And in this chapter, we will study first, we will have an introduction. And say there is a story, students, in this first of all. When we will start this chapter, chapter 3, there is a story saving an old building. So there were two friends, Jaspal and Harpreet. These were two friends, Jaspal and Harpreet. You can see the picture of those uh, boys. Yes, so these were two boys who were friends, Jaspal and Harpreet. They were playing cricket in a lane outside their home. So they were playing cricket in the lane outside their home. When they noticed the people who were admiring that dilapidated old building that the children called the haunted house. So what happened when these two boys were playing cricket in their lane outside their home? They noticed that the people who were standing there were admiring, were praising about the dilapidated. Dilapidated means a broken down or a old building. Yes, which is not repaired, which is broken down and ruined. Yes, so old building was there that the small children call the haunted house. Have you seen the small buildings? Yes, where which are broken, which are very ruined and which are very old. Then the children call them as a haunted house, the house of ghost. Yes, so this type of building, the children says that these buildings are haunted house. Yes, so what happened when they saw this building as a haunted house? So what happened, they see that the people were talking about this house. And look at the architecture, said one of the man. So the people who were standing there said that look at the architecture, how it is being built, this building has been built, said one of the man who was standing there. Have you seen the fine wood carving? Asked one of the women. So one of the women was also standing there with those people. So she asked that have you seen the fine wood carving, that how much good carving, how much good carving on the wood has been done in this building, old building. So what happened in this old building? So what happened then? We must write. So the ladies told all the people who were standing there, she told that we must write to the minister so that she makes arrangements to repair and preserve this beautiful house. So she told to all the people who were standing there and was discussing about this haunted house, this unrepaired house. She told that we should write a letter to the minister that to make some arrangement to repair and preserve this beautiful house. So why, they wondered, would anybody be interested in the old run down house? So they wondered that why would anyone would be interested in the old building which is in the poor condition, which is not repaired from so many years to be repaired. Why the people will be interested to repair it? So this was this question arise in the mind of those people and that lady. So now by this we will start our chapter, the story Harappa. So this is a story of Harappa. Very often old buildings have a story to tell. So you all know that when there are old buildings, oftenly it happens that old buildings have a story to tell. there is one or the another story being related to these types of building. Nearly 150 years ago, when railway lines were being laid down for the first time in the Punjab, engineers stumbled upon the site of Harappa in present day Pakistan. So Harappa was in earlier days Harappa, it was Harappa. Now in present day we call it as Pakistan. So it is a country Pakistan. Earlier this site was Harappa. So what happened nearly 150 years ago, when the people when the railway lines were being let down for the first time in Punjab. So first time the railway lines were being let down in Punjab, the engineers who were laying the railway lines, what they stumbled means what they find by chance. What stumble means by chance, or to find, or to meet something by chance. So what the engineers stumbled find by chance, one site of Harappa, which is today called Pakistan. Yes, this is a site. You can see this site was being seen by the engineers when they were first time laying the railway lines to in Punjab. So what happened then to them it seemed like a mound. So for the engineers it seemed like a mound, an elevated heap. You can see a picture side, this is an elevated heap. So for the engineers it seemed like a mound, like an elevated heap or piles. That was a rich source of ready-made high quality bricks. So it, for the engineers who were laying the railway line for the first time in Punjab, it seemed a rich source for ready-made high quality bricks, because they found this site, Harappa site, there, and there were this old building, this old site was having so many old bricks. Yes, so they found a rich source of ready-made and high quality bricks, so that they can take the bricks from this site, and they can, that those bricks can be laid down for laying the railway lines. So they carried off thousands of bricks from the walls of the old building of the city to build railway lines. So what these engineers did, when they saw this site of Harappa, and it was having a very high quality of bricks, so what those engineers did, those engineers took thousands of bricks from this site and from the walls of these old buildings of the city to build railway lines. Then what happened? Many buildings were completely destroyed. So in this city, many buildings were completely destroyed. Then about 80 years ago. So then what happened? Around 80 years ago, archaeologists found the site. So when the archaeologists were searching for the past, they found this site, and they realized that this was one of the oldest city in the subcontinent. So they came to realize that this site, which the engineers took the bricks from this site for laying the railway lines, for making the railway line track. So this site was an oldest city in the subcontinent. Yes. So what happened then? As this was the first city to be discovered, all other sites from where similar buildings and other things were found were described as Harappan. So when this site was discovered first time, that this first city was discovered, so all the other site which was nearby to this site, and which was having a similar buildings like this sites building, and similar things were found in different sites, these all sites were called, described as Harappan. These cities developed about 4,700 years ago. So these Harappan cities were developed about 4,700 years ago in the subcontinent, which was discovered around the time one, yes, 1920. Yes, in 1920, in the year 1920, these cities were developed, and these were discovered. Yes, so this site, this old building site was known as the site of Harappans, and this was a story how this site, how this first city was discovered, and it was known as, it was called as the city of Harappa. Yes, you can see these cities were found in Punjab. So where these cities were found? These cities were found in Punjab, because at the time when engineers were laying the railway lines, this site was near to that place, and where they were laying the railway lines, they were laying the railway lines in Punjab. So these cities were found in Punjab and Sindh in Pakistan. So where they were found? These cities were found in the Punjab and Sindh in Pakistan, and in Gujarat, Rajasthan, Haryana, and the Punjab in India. So these were the areas, these were the region where these cities of Harappa were found. Where these cities were found, we should again recall, these cities of Harappa were found in the Punjab and Sindh in Pakistan, and in Gujarat, Rajasthan, Haryana, and the Punjab in India. So these cities were found in this particular places. Now, soon after the discovery of cities like Kothar, Dholavira, Mohenjo-daro, and Kalibangan have also been discovered and were come to be known as the Harappan cities, or also the advent or arrival of Harappan civilization. So, as soon as the first city was discovered as Harappa, so these cities were also discovered soon after that, and these cities were Kothal, Dholavira, Mohenjo-daro, and Kalibanga, which were also discovered after that, after the discovery of the first city, and they were also known as the Harappan cities, because their buildings were just similar to the first site. Yes, first cities, and they were also known as the arrival or advent of Harappan civilization. Now, we will move further to this chapter. The cities were discovered around the river Indus, henceforth providing the existence of the Indus Valley civilization. So when these cities were discovered, so these cities, all these Harappan cities were discovered around the river Indus. So when these cities was discovered around the river Indus, so it was proved, henceforth it was proving that the existence of the Indus Valley civilization, that there were Indus Valley civilization. So it was proving that in these cities, as these cities were found near the river Indus, so it was proving that there was existence of life, there were existence of people, there was existence of civilization of the people in nearby the Indus Valley, or the we call it as Indus Valley civilization. Yes, so until this there is a question in this chapter. Very often old buildings are pulled down to make way for new construction. Do you think it is important to preserve old buildings? Yes, students, tell me. Till this we will today we have discussed that how we come to know about this site, this old site, when the engineers were laying the railway line in Punjab, and just after that 80 years ago, the archaeologists find this site, and they found that they realized that this was the first city which was there, and this first city was around 700 years ago discovered. Yes, so, and it was known as the Harappa. How we came to know about the first city which was discovered, and it was known as Harappa, and all the sites which was near to this city, near to this site, when which were having the same buildings were also called the cities of Harappa. Yes, and these all cities were in the Punjab and Sindh of Pakistan, and Rajasthan, Haryana, and Punjab of India. Yes, and these all cities were developed near the river Indus. So this was proving that there was existence of life in Indus Valley near the Indus River, and it was known as Indus Valley civilization. Now after this we have a question that very often old buildings are pulled down to make way for new construction. Do you think it is important to preserve old buildings? Yes, tell me, it is important to preserve old buildings, yes or no? The answer is yes, it is important to preserve old buildings because why it is important? Those old monuments or those old buildings are the reflection of our history, because they are the only reflection, they only tell us about our past. So we should preserve them. They help us to understand and respect people who lived in different eras with different habits and traditions. So these buildings also help us to understand and respect the people who were living in different eras with different habits and traditions. They were having different tradition, habits, and culture. So these buildings help us to understand and respect the people who were living there at that time. So now by this, students, we have just started the third chapter in the earliest cities, and we have just started that how we find the first city, and it was known as Harappa. What was the story of Harappa? How we discovered the first city Harappa and the other cities of Harappa civilization. Yes, or Harappa. Yes, now in next video we will further study about the Harappan cities, that how the people who are living, what type of occupations they were doing, what type of work they were doing. So that all we will study in further explanation and further classes. Thank you and have a nice day.